An explosion occurred on a railway bridge in Russia's Bryansk region, local telegram channels reported. During the explosion, a truck moving on the bridge overturned. Moreover, a part of the bridge fell on a train moving on the Kyiv-Moscow route. As a result, 4 of the passengers on the train were killed and at least 44 people were injured. According to preliminary information, the cause of the explosion was the detonation of bombs placed on the bridge. The governor of the Bryansk region, Alexander Bogomaz, confirmed the incident.
Да кому сейчас машина-то нужна?
Не есть назад, а то еще там рухнет. Что-то подкладывай, кошки. Кошмар просто.
Attacks on drone production sites in the Russian Federation are great news. Ukraine is improving its unmanned systems, so such news will be repeated. This was stated on air by military expert, former spokesman for the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Vladislav Zeleznev, on Radio NV. In particular, he commented on the information about drone strikes on the Kronstadt plant in the Moscow region city of Dubna. This plant is engaged in the development of engineering and information technologies in the drone industry. According to the specialist, this is a new production facility that was opened only in 2021. It specializes in the manufacture of large-sized drones and has a full cycle. That is, the weapons that plague us every night are manufactured there. Accordingly, the attacks on that facility are excellent news. Again, what happened once will definitely happen again, because the goal of our large-scale drone attacks is to weaken Russia's ability to produce weapons and equipment for waging war, Zeleznev said. According to him, the Ukrainian armed forces are constantly improving their unmanned systems. For example, recently, for the first time, it became publicly known about the use of so-called mother drones, carriers for kamikaze drones that can deliver them to a distance of up to 300 kilometers. This is a new step in the development of unmanned warfare. As the expert noted, we see technological upgrades virtually every quarter. He recalled that earlier the enemy's large-scale use of drones controlled via fiber optic cables had made an impression. Now Ukraine is also actively mastering this principle. Now a new solution is in line: mother drones. Who knows, in the near future we will see drones that use artificial intelligence and can perform certain tasks in a synchronized and coordinated manner. That is, war, like a wonderful examiner, identifies the most effective practices for carrying out certain actions. In fact, this is very important, Zeleznev emphasized. He emphasized that the armed forces of Ukraine today are not simply defending the state, but are systematically destroying the offensive potential of Putin's army. On the one hand, the Russians are killing Ukrainian civilians every day who have nothing to do with defense. On the other hand, the Ukrainian army is methodically undermining the enemy's ability to attack, the expert said. According to him, if President Volodymyr Zelensky talks about ending the war before the summer of 2026, this is a completely realistic forecast. And in principle, we are seeing the first such news on this track. Now the enemy is using armored vehicles, particularly tanks, less and less on the battlefield. Why? because the enemy simply does not have enough tanks, because we have been effectively destroying the enemy's armored vehicles. And the key factor that the enemy has now used is meaty infantry assaults, the use of motorcycles and adapted automobile equipment. Well, artillery, because the North Korean government is now transferring artillery systems and ammunition to them on a large scale. Zelensky said, according to him, drones remain a large-scale challenge, but a challenge that is to a certain extent decisive, because now Ukrainian intelligence reports that up to 65% of enemy losses are the result of the effective work of our Ukrainian operators of unmanned systems.
In different regions of Russia, partisans are organizing anti-war actions, which are joined by citizens who oppose the regime of the Russian dictator and war criminal Putin and strive for a speedy end to the war. This was reported by the resistance movement Atesh. Mass anti-war actions have swept regions throughout Russia, the partisans reported. The Atesh movement reported that the activists of the civil force have carried out a large-scale campaign to distribute anti-Putin leaflets in various regions of Russia, from the Leningrad to the Sverdlovsk region, including the national republics. Hundreds of leaflets have appeared in cities such as Elista, Kostroma, Shlisselburg, Ekaterinburg, Suvorov and many others. More than 20 people have already contacted the activists. The greatest activity was recorded in the Tula region in Kalmykia. From there, dozens of citizens have filed appeals, openly declaring their disagreement with the Kremlin's policies and their readiness to act to stop war crimes. Each new leaflet is a step towards the destruction of the Kremlin dictatorship. The more widely the truth is spread, the faster we will break the system of violence, Atesh summed up. People in Russia are not able to protest peacefully without fear of reprisals. A week into its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, Russia introduced war censorship laws to make criticism the invasion a grave offense. In addition, people who peacefully protested the war in Ukraine are being charged with violence against police, incitement of hatred, or even treason. Many people are serving lengthy prison sentences for peaceful anti-war dissent. Russia's war censorship laws, introduced in March 2022, banned people from criticizing Russia's aggression in Ukraine. They branded calls against war crimes by Russian forces as fakes or discreditations of the Russian armed forces. Under the new censorship laws, these actions can be met with a maximum sentence of 15 years in prison. The laws led to an exodus of independent media and activists from Russia and a crackdown on any form of anti-war dissent. Even calling the war a war instead of a special military operation is considered a crime. People in Russia continue to protest against the war in Ukraine. However, the Russian authorities are determined to shut them down completely.